Hello, it is Sara Waggle, astrologer and leadership coach here for Virgo season, sun and rising signs. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're new to my channel, welcome in. If you are returning, welcome back. Hope you are enjoying the Aquarius experiment. Don't know if that's going to continue into September. Don't know. Or if I'm going to switch to something else, or if there just won't be an extra video series. I don't know. Figure that out as it plays out. But this is the sun and rising sign. So I'll go over the new moon in Virgo, the lunar eclipse in Pisces. Yes, we are in eclipse season. And all of that in between. So this is going to be a heavy Virgo season. It's also one you're going to want to pay attention to. And the reason that I say that is because our previous eclipses have been in Aries and Libra. In fact, we're going to have more Aries and Libra eclipses even once the nodes move into North Node Pisces, South Node Virgo. Just the way the cycles are playing out. So I did a little looking ahead to see how this plays out. We have a lunar eclipse in Pisces during this Virgo season, and we will only have lunar eclipses in Pisces. All of these solar eclipses will either be in Virgo or Aquarius or Aries. So something is ending. You combine that with, as I have mentioned many times, a lot of our outer planets will be changing signs in 2025 and into 2026. That I mean, Neptune will dip into Aries and Saturn will dip into Aries. And then they will both retrograde back into Pisces and then meet up exact in early 2026. But they're going to be dancing in a conjunction for a while. And so if you have planets or points at the end of Pisces, early Aries, you're going to want to be attentive to that. And of course, that also holds true if you have planets or points in the latter degrees of Virgo, because you'll have some opposition intensities happening. We also have, Jupiter moves annually. So he'll move from Gemini into Cancer next year in 2025. And Uranus, who's been in Taurus since, I believe, 2018, will move into Gemini. So if you thought Jupiter and Gemini had your head spinning because it was too much information, too much advancement, Uranus and Gemini could send us all into a whirlwind. I personally I'm a little terrified of Uranus and Gemini for that reason. I've not been handling Jupiter and Gemini very well. And so I've had to, do a lot of extra stuff to keep myself in, absorbing it all and things like that. So if you're somebody like me who absorbs things very slowly, who manages information very slowly, this Jupiter and Gemini may have had you kind of in a whirlwind. Uranus and Gemini, I feel like could be that much more. So because we have so many outer planets moving signs next year, and we have lunar eclipses in Pisces next year, the level of ending, and not to mention Pluto moving now, he'll retrograde back into Capricorn the 1st of September, and then he'll re-ingress back into Aquarius towards the end of November, and that'll be it. He'll be in Aquarius for the next 20 years. So, interesting, wild things could happen between September 1st through, I believe it's the 20th of November, 19th or 20th, I want to say. Interesting things could happen because think about what's been going on since 2008 with Pluto in Capricorn. And so this is kind of like Pluto's last hurrah with Capricorn. Capricorn is systems, it's structures, it's authority, it's governing bodies, it's traditions and things like that. And so this is kind of the last, and Pluto is death and rebirth. It is transformation. So it is all about breaking down whatever it's going through, and so that it can be rebuilt. And it will be rebuilt in Aquarius, which is about people and communities and technologies, and it's what you get to bring to the table. And if you notice, I've been focusing a lot on you discovering you and what you have to bring to your community, to your group, your family, however that might show up for you. It's also going to be about technology. So we have artificial intelligence or artificial super intelligence. We have augmented reality. We have, there was another one. I can't remember, but that's okay. You know, so computing and technology could massively advance, and you get Pluto in Aquarius with Uranus, who rules Aquarius, in Gemini, which is about communication and all of that. And it's going to be a wild ride, kids. So, I'm here for it. I really, I am really here for it. So anyway, let's take a look at the new moon and the lunar eclipse full moon in Pisces charts and dive into this Virgo season. But before I do that, let me go over some archetypes so you have an idea of what Virgo is really about. Virgo is Mercury ruled, so it's a Mercury sign. It is being organized, detail-oriented, analytic, or good at analyzing. It also rules the digestive system or the gut-brain relationship. So I talk a lot about the solar plexus chakra and how we digest not only food or whatever we consume, whether it's food or beverages or whatever, but also how we digest information. So that goes back to that, you know, what I was talking about with Jupiter and Uranus and Gemini is digesting information. And that could lead to cognitive dissonance or not wanting to believe what you hear. And so asking questions about things that you hear, is that really for real? Oh my God, are you kidding me? Like those sorts of things. And so, so we have this Virgo Pisces axis that is, you know, starting now, but and the nodes don't move until January of 2025, but we're getting a taste of it in this Virgo season. That's why I'm really kind of thinking that feeling that this is very important and could be very heavy, because Virgo is practical. It's very practical. It, you know, like I said, if you know anyone who has Virgo placements or is a Virgo sun or a Virgo rising, they need to know the details. They want to know all the information before they will even start the project. They also are meticulous about organizing. All of these are not bad things, by the way. They drive me absolutely insane, but they're not in general bad things, right? Virgos keep me in line, honestly. I have a lot of family who are Virgos. I have friends who are Virgos. They really keep me in line because I have a lot of air and water. And anyway, so Virgo people keep me in line. I just don't like it. So such is life, right? But it's practical. It's also about nutrition and food and how you're, you know, how you're digesting those things, how your body feels when you are digesting food. And so we want to think about those sorts of things as we move through this Virgo season. Intuitive eating could be a factor. Is your body doing better when you eat lots of, you know, meat and meat, meaning beef, chicken, or pork, or, you know, whatever other meat you might be eating? You know, does your body do better when you're eating meat? Does it feel better when you're eating more vegetables? Does it feel better when you're eating more root vegetables versus green vegetables? Does it feel better when you're eating fruit and things like that? And so we really want to think about how our body actually feels when we are digesting food. And so it's something it's something I have played with before, and I'm practicing it again, just naturally, just noticing when my body feels better, when it feels less inflamed, when it feels less bloated, when it feels like it's actually moving things through my system a lot better. And with the information overload, if you're that person who's getting info overload, be attentive to your digestion and how your body processes food, because that can help you process information. So if your one system is clogged up, the other one potentially could be clogged up as well. So of course, pay attention to your bowel movements as well. I will not go into detail on that one. I think you know what I mean. Okay. So that's archetypes of Virgo. So the shadowy side of Virgo is they're overly meticulous, they're in control, they're control freaks, they're anxious, they got to know all the things to the point where they won't take action until they know all of the things. But the light of Virgo is that we need Virgos. We need Virgos to be the organized ones, right? To be the ones who know how to use an Excel spreadsheet or a great organization system, or who do want to know the details so that decisions can be made appropriately and timely and things like that. So on the flip side, we have Pisces. Pisces is more ethereal or spiritual or duality. And so Pisces can be about the subconscious. It can be about the dream state. It can be about spiritual practices and connecting with your spiritual higher power, however that shows up for you. And so Pisces rules the feet, because Pisces is there to remind us that while we are spiritual, energetic beings living in meat sacks here on planet Earth, Virgo, we are human. And so it's our feet, and it roots us in and connects us to the earth. So maybe invest some time this Virgo season, or even for a while, making sure that your feet are planted on the ground, making sure that you're showing some gratitude to your feet, and things like that. So gratitude is a big thing, and saying thank you to your feet for walking you to and fro the coffee shop, walking you to and fro the beach, walking you to and from the bus, walking you to and from the whatever it is that makes you day. The ice cream shop. I don't know. Anyway, all right, let's dive into these charts and see what is going on with these lunation cycles. All righty, this is the new moon in Virgo chart that we're looking at. Okay, so you're going to want to pay attention to the house that Virgo is in. So of course, I'm looking at a whole sign chart with Aries rising, just to keep things simple. But when we go into the sun and rising signs, you're going to want to pay attention to that Virgo house, because that's where all those solar eclipses coming up next year are going to begin to happen. So something is going to start being like an epiphany or an up level, or something super amazing is going to be revealed for you in that Virgo house. So this new moon, which is down here on the lower right-hand side, I highlighted it in yellow, but it's at 11 degrees of Virgo. So, you know, that's where we are. It's in the Saturn or Capricorn decan of Virgo. And so, you know, it's not quite in opposition to Saturn, since Saturn's still at 16 degrees. So that's a good thing. However, we do have Mercury in a trine with Chiron. Is that right? Yeah. Mercury in a trine with Chiron from Leo over to Aries. So this will be the third pass of the Mercury trine Chiron transit. So if you've been feeling something or needing to speak something out about your wounds, or how you're feeling about something, so it could be some spicy conversations with both of these in fire signs, but it's harmonious. So a trine is a harmonious transit, or a harmonious aspect. So it really could be a positive situation there. Like maybe you've been trying to say it and finally you get heard. You know, or finally, like someone's willing to hear you out or hold the space for you, or you're willing to hold the space for, maybe you're suddenly the one that's willing to hear what you need to hear from a person about a wound, or maybe you're just finally willing to tell your story, and you're going to write your book or do your podcast or do your YouTube or whatever it is to share your story about, your experiences. The other part that we have here is Mars square Neptune. So this is a tricky aspect here, a tension between Mars and Neptune. Mars is information overload. This is like at 28, 29 degrees of Mars is at Gemini. Neptune is in Pisces. And this could be where that cognitive dissonance, we've got something, some sort of new something happening, or something new being revealed, and you're in this what holy shit moment of, did I really just hear that? Is that really real? Kind of thing. The illusion could be off the charts by this point, because the other thing, let me point out, is up here we've got Pluto has retrograded back and 29 degrees of Capricorn. By the time this moon happens, this moon peaks on September 2nd at 8:55 p.m. Central Daylight Time. And so, and Uranus is in retrograde at this point as well. In fact, they go retrograde I believe within 24 hours of this new moon peaking. So the moon will be dark, a dark balsamic moon when Pluto goes back into Capricorn and Uranus stations retrograde. So, you know, it could be a really tricky time. This could be one of those moments to really pay attention to your bodily functions and how things are moving along and through your body systems. I say that with a snicker, but I'm being for real. Like, it's definitely a time when you want to stay hydrated and you want to eat, you know, food from the earth and, you know, or meat, like natural, real meat, things like that, or things that are just in general, not overly processed, but more of, you know, you can read the ingredients on the label type of situation. So that's this new moon. I don't particularly mind it, but I feel like some people could be going through some stuff by at this point, with that Pluto retrograding back into Capricorn. I think it's gonna send some people, you know, who are unaware or unwilling to see things. Like, there comes a point when you kind of have to see things. And to be honest, like, all of us has a blind spot, right? There's something, and by that I mean a metaphoric blind spot or a figurative blind spot. There's always something we're unwilling to see or learn or understand about something, right? And that's why they're called conspiracy theories, because, you know, it's something that it's a theory and it's a conspiracy. And is it really real? And I'm not saying what is or isn't real, because at this point, does any of us know what the hell is real and not real? No, probably not. And so, but to be aware that we all have a blind spot, we all have a place where we can, you know, learn something, or we can find out some information. And eventually, you know, sometimes you have to be told something like 3, 4 times, 10 times even before it resonates, before you're willing to hear it. And that could go back to that Mercury trine Chiron as well, is finally you're open and able to hear what information is being conveyed. So that's the new moon in Virgo. And then we have the eclipse in Pisces. Now, this is not until September 17th. This will be the first of many lunar eclipses in Pisces from September 17th until, I think early 2020, sometime in 2026. Off the top of my head, I don't remember. I think let's see. Those will shift in August, so there might be another eclipse with a Pisces Virgo signature towards the end of 2026. But either way, the point is this is the first of it. So you're gonna want to pay attention to the 17th, to what's being released, what's being illuminated. Maybe, you know, and this isn't even about illuminated, right? With an eclipse, it's the moon's being obscured by the sun. So like, it's more of a, because there's an obscurity. This is not a total lunar eclipse. This is a partial eclipse. It's going to be more along the lines of, like it or not, this has to go. And we're definitely in that energy with Pluto in Capricorn. It is, like it or not, it has to go. It can't stay with you and keep you, for you to up level, like I talked about with the Virgo thing. For you to get where you want to get with wherever Virgo is in your chart, something's got to go. You have to let some part of you go, some relationship go, a job, a belief system, you know, something like that. So something has to be revealed. So we kind of have an X marks the spot here between the sun opposite the moon and Mercury opposite Saturn. You know, could be just information that's like forced at you, type of thing. It's also within 4 degrees of 5 or 4 or 3. Okay, so it is well within a conjunction of Neptune. The moon is well within a conjunction of Neptune. That could just be whirly. That could just be swimmy. Like, the fog is for real. I highlighted Chiron in yellow because he's at 22 degrees and 22 geometric minutes at the point of this full moon lunar eclipse peaking. So I thought that was interesting. And Venus over in Venus and Libra will have just opposed Chiron. And so, there could be some stuff coming up. Again, this goes back to like your core wounds. Chiron and Aries is the wounded healer, but Chiron and Aries, if we think about him as the great teacher, it's a matter of you transmuting or alchemizing your wounds of yourself so that you can be who you need to be or who you desire to be for the world, the collective, the community, the groups, the whomever. And when Pluto goes back into Aquarius, we make it some ping of an idea of what that is. I'll go back to things I have said recently about, we each have something creative about ourselves. We each are here for a unique really. We are each here for a unique purpose. My throat is like not having me say that. But the truth is we're all here for a unique purpose in this time and in this space. And we're all here to contribute to, your local community. Hold on. Okay, that was wild. It was like I had a pepper stuck in the back of my freaking throat. Right when I was trying to say, man, that throat chakra resistance showed up like a mofo, right? All right. Yeah, it made my eyes water. Okay. But Scorpio, or sorry, I keep wanting to put Venus in Scorpio, but Venus is in Libra and she is at home in Libra. And so, it's really about like balance, justice, what is of service. We've got that sun in Virgo. Virgo is also about being a servant or being of service. And so if there's something that you are meant to do or that your soul has guided you to do to be of service to others, there could be like something coming up that you need to know in order to be of service. And it's not going to be an option for you to ignore it anymore. So keep doing self-discovery work if you don't know what that is for you. Keep trying new things, throw spaghetti at the wall, try a new recipe, throw, different ingredients into a pot and see how it works. I mean, think about how many like different recipes there are. You guys know I've been doing a lot of tea this year. And I'm always surprised when I get a tea that I'm like, are you sure those will go good together? And they actually go really good together. Or sometimes they don't. And I'm like, oh, that was not a good idea. But so feel into that for yourself as you're going to feel it. And it may feel anxious to you at first, like, oh my God, I can't do that. Like when I first started sharing charts on YouTube, I was terrified. I'm still terrified every time, by the way. I'm always afraid that like something's not going to work. And sometimes it doesn't work and I don't know it until the video is uploaded and you guys have already watched it. And I'm like, oh my God, did they think I'm an idiot? Anywho, but I try really hard and I do my best and that's all I can really say there. So anywho, so that's the new moon, that's the lunar eclipse. So this is the lunar eclipse. The solar eclipse will be in October. It'll be in Libra. So we'll have that situation once we get into Libra season, but know that between the 17th of September and the 2nd of October, that we will be in the eclipse portal. And that this is the first eclipse in Pisces since I think, 9 years ago. So 2015. And then this will be one of the last eclipses in Libra for this Aries Libra nodal cycle. So yeah. Okay, so it feels really significant to me that we need to be paying attention to this Virgo season, that like, you're gonna experience something during this Virgo season that is going to potentially be unavoidable or unquestionable, but it's also going to create this chaos in your brain of, but that's been a thing for me for X number of years, or that's been a thing for me for, I've been vegan for so long and now I'm craving meat. Things like that. I've been vegan. I totally get that. Okay. It was a thing for me. I suddenly started craving meat and Also started practicing judo, and burgers smelled really good after judo. So that was that. I've never looked back. I still tend to lean towards more of like a clean eating nutrition. But anywho, so I hope that's helpful. I hope that that resonates. And it may not make sense to you today. And I do invite you to come back and watch this video halfway through Virgo season and be like, oh, now I get it. Because I've done that. I've gone back and watched either my own videos or other astrologers who I follow. I've gone back and watched their videos and been like, oh, okay, now I get it. Because we don't know, we don't necessarily always see it in the moment that like, oh, you know, that was what the astrology pointed to for me. All right. So before I jump into the sun signs, so it's the links below. We've got the 2024 practical applications video. Of course, you can also check out the Aquarius experiment, which is sort of the same thing, just in a different presentation. We've got the newsletter you can sign up for. Those are published on Sunday. I am planning to continue those. But right now I'm sharing how I implemented astrology into my existing coaching practice. Also my guest appearance on the Hearts Unleashed podcast, the Awakening Spirit Collective. Okay, I had to pause because I had to sneeze. I didn't figure you wanted to hear me sneeze. The Awakening Spirit Collective, Hearts Unleashed podcast. You can book a reading with me if you would like, if you're really interested in knowing what Pisces and Virgo axis looks like in your chart, what placements you have there, what points you have there, all of those things. That's available for you. And then you can buy me a coffee if you want to support my channel financially. That would be amazing. I would appreciate you doing so. I think that's it before we jump into the sun and rising signs. So of course, I'm using whole sign houses. So if you want something with Placidus or another calculation, I would book a reading for that because then it would be more personalized to you. But I will be using whole signs. I will, of course, timestamp this video so you can move forward and backward. Of course, check out your rising sign first, sun sign second. And if you want to know your moon sign, you can check that one out too, or any other planet point that you want to know. Just if you do that, if you look for where your Saturn's at and you do the house, first house Saturn, then you want to think about it from the Saturnian perspective. So that's pretty advanced. But for the basics, sun, rising sign, then sun sign. Okay. Got it. All right, cool. Let's jump into this and let's get going. All right, Aries, this is your forecast for Virgo season 2024. Virgo is your 6th house. That is about health, daily routines, being of service. It is about, and then of course, Pisces, the opposing sign would be about subconscious, dream state, spirituality. This is a duality situation, reminding you that you're a human and that you are a spiritual being. And so for you, I would say this is going to be about making adjustments to your daily routine, making adjustments to your health, making adjustments to improve your health, maintain your health, but also could be with the Pisces full moon, the full moon lunar eclipse could be disrupted dreams, or it could be lucid dreams, could be a good time to keep a dreams journal. Definitely feel like some things are going to be happening for you subconsciously that you may not be aware of, but may come out in your dreams. So that's why I say the dream journal. But also could be, Pisces, the 12th house also rules like isolation and things like that. So you could be like introspective or reflecting, like what's really going on in my life. Am I really going in the right direction? Do I like how my health is doing? Maybe starting a workout regimen or getting your eating on track. Intuitive eating or conscious eating. Also could just be like, have you been in your own space? You're an Aries, that's what you do. And maybe you need to broaden yourself out to be more of service to other people, maybe some volunteer work or something like that. But I really think with this, the 6th house is going to get all of the solar eclipses and in the upcoming year and a half. And your 12th house is going to get the lunar eclipses. So I really feel like there's something about your spiritual connection, your subconscious, your dream state, being affected because of the desire to get your health and routines on track. So let's see what's up with the Angel Tarot for Aries. Whoops, this one was flipped up right. Oh Lord, did I flip the whole deck up right? Yep, I did. Hold on one second. Aries gets to be with me while I mess it up. Okay. So for that reason, we'll do one more shuffle just to be sure that the cards say what they want to say to me. All right, let's try that. Let's try that. So now for Aries, we got, this is card number 3. You can look that up, the numerological significance of the number 3. And that is the Empress, Archangel Gabriel. And this says, lavish abundance, give birth to new dreams. Yep. And nurture yourself and others. Well, pretty much on point to what I just said. So be the Empress, nurture yourself and others, be open to new dreams or new ideas, shift in your whole life as far as like if you begin tracking your dreams, and really embracing your dreams, and what that really can bring for you if you really start embracing what's coming to you in your dreams, in your subconscious. What is something that you've kind of been holding back on that now is the time to really step into what you want to be doing. So that's what I got for Aries. All right, Taurus, the Virgo new moon is going to be in your 5th house. The lunar eclipse in Pisces is going to be in your 11th house. So that Virgo situation is going to be all about new, inspiring, creative ideas, new directions with creative ideas. It also could be a new relationship with your children or children in general. Perhaps you are starting a home daycare, which would not only shift your relationship with children, but would shift your group and community, because then you'd have like the parents of the children or social media for the daycare, or something like that. It's just one idea. It doesn't mean you got to be a daycare provider. And so this could also be just shifting your conversations with your children, or maybe shifting your inner child wounds so that you can broaden yourself out to new, to the change in your groups, communities, how you are on social media, how you are with technology, things like that. Something is definitely going to be like shifting in your groups, communities, and technology, with that 11th house being those lunar eclipses in the next year and a half. But to get there has something to do with your relationship with your children, with children in general, or with your inner child. Also just being open to creative insights, creative bursts, creative, just epiphanies that might come through to show you something new, or a new path, or a new journey with your creativity. And you got, let me make this a little bit bigger. You got the 3 of water. Oh, interesting. The 3s are making an appearance. This is a celebration, a wedding, interesting. Graduation, or birth announcement, the need to have more fun. And water in this deck is represented by mermaids. And so this could, again, back to that creative fun. This doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get pregnant, or that you're going to but you may graduate, and it may not be like a graduation from higher education or graduation from high school or something. It could be you're graduating in your self-worth. It could be you're graduating in your confidence and your creativity. It could be you're graduating from an old group of people who don't get you, who don't align, to a group of people or community that does align with you, that does see things as similarly as you. That could be your graduation. Your birth announcement could be that you're writing a book or you're releasing your podcast, could be that kind of thing. When we think about like these types of announcements, a birth announcement, a wedding, or a graduation, you may be marrying yourself. You're getting into that harmonious, creative flow with yourself and creating that marriage situation with yourself, or that graduation. I'm graduating from, this goal that I've had is not just a hobby, it's going to be my business. That's a graduation. You're graduating from one part of your life to a new part of your life. And so just be open to what inspires you, what shows up, what feels like it's aligned and working for you as we move through this Virgo season. So I got for Taurus. All right, Gemini, this is your forecast for Virgo season 2024. So we have the Virgo new moon and then the Pisces lunar, full moon lunar eclipse. And so Virgo is a sign that squares you, so it creates tension. And then Pisces also squares you. So you may actually already be in some tense energy with Mars having moved through your first house, Jupiter currently moving through your first house, and the squares to Saturn and other planets as they have been moving through Virgo. And so the squares to Pisces, meaning the squares to Saturn, the squares to Neptune, as things have been moving through Gemini. And so you're thinking about you and how you are in the world. It's Gemini, your first house. Fourth house would be Virgo, your home life, your emotional intelligence, your home situation. So something may be happening there with your home situation. You may be relocating, rebuilding, moving. You may be connecting more emotionally or maternally. And then Pisces would be your 10th house, which would be what's going away, your career, your public achievements, your complete shift in your career goals and how you want to work and earn money. And then, of course, opposing you would be Sagittarius. So, that's not in this conversation today, but it's present, right? So as we feel into the Virgo new moon, you're going to want to pay attention to what shows up in that Virgo new moon that kind of gives you some sort of insight, or maybe it's something that you have to work through because that new moon at 11 degrees could be squaring something in your Gemini house. And so same as that Pisces lunar eclipse. So be attentive to what's showing up around your home, your house, your mothering or mother, and then be attentive to what's showing up with your career, your long-term goals, your public achievements, those sorts of things. And for Gemini, we got this is card number 10. And it is the wheel, and this is Archangel Michael. And if I remember correctly, this one is a time of positive change, a situation suddenly moves forward. Fortune is on your side. So this is the wheel. This is card number 10. The wheels as the wheel wills, the Wheel of Time. So if you've ever read that book series, but yeah, everything's going to keep moving forward, right? You're in a mutable sign. These are mutable aspects or immutable signs that will be aspecting your sign. You also still have Uranus in your 12th house. So things are working for you, but you have to be willing to let things go. And Gemini, you're pretty good at, being a little bit like all over the place and a little bit multitasky and things like that. And maybe it's like an opportunity to be less multitasking and more, doing one thing at a time. And maybe it's kind of a balanced focus between your home life and your career life, but the wheel's going to keep going and you've got good energy on your side. So let's look out for Gemini. All right, Cancer, this is your forecast for the Virgo season 2024. So the Virgo new moon is going to be in your third house, which is communication. It is sibling relationships or neighbors. It could also be short distance travel. And then the Pisces lunar eclipse would be your ninth house, which is dogmatic religious beliefs, higher education, long distance travel, things like that. So I don't see Cancer is moving anytime soon with a bunch of Pisces lunar eclipses. If anything, you may be moving closer to a sibling. You may be moving closer to an aunt or an uncle, to, be closer to your family or something like that. But also communication. I feel like Cancer is going to be more communicative, more sharing their intuition, sharing their maternal instincts, sharing their feelings, their emotions in general, or just, what have they been feeling? And so notably, we will have Mars in Cancer from September 7th through sometime in April of next year, minus like a few months that he'll be in Leo. And so it's kind of like with Mars moving into your sign during Virgo season, and these Virgo eclipses, the Virgo new moon and subsequent eclipses next year, I feel like we could be hearing a lot from Cancers about like what they have been feeling is intuiting a word? I don't know. Being intuitive about, how about that? Being intuitive about what psychic thing feels have you got to share with us? And I feel like Cancers maybe hold a key to some psychic potential that none of us is aware of because they've been harboring it for so long. And they may start coming out of their crab shell and start sharing that with the rest of us. And then with that Pisces lunar eclipse in the ninth house, again, I feel like it's something about like your releasing something around higher education, or releasing something about long distance travel, or releasing something about a religious belief system, or something like that could be surfacing for you. So let's see what the angel deck has for Cancers. The Seven of Water is mermaids in this deck. It says a complex decision, the need to do research. Yep. Stop procrastinating. I feel this. I think it's time for Cancers to stop holding back what they know, and how intelligent they are, intuitively intelligent that they are, and really being open to sharing their intuition, sharing the complexities that they're already aware of, or maybe they've been aware of for quite some time. I really love this. This water is represented by mermaids in this deck. And so I feel like this is, I would love to say be your inner Ariel, but I don't even think that's accurate, because Ariel was not that bright in many cases, right? She didn't understand what the human tools were, the human objects were. So I don't want to say embrace your inner Ariel, but embrace your inner mermaid, right? There's some wisdom to be held or had by mermaids, right? They live in the seas. We are in a year of 2024 that's a lot to do with water and water systems and waterways, and stuff like that, and really embracing water and what potent or power water holds. And Cancer, that's you. So I think it's time to start sharing and start communicating what wisdom you hold. So that's what I got for Cancer. All right, Leo, sun and rising. This is your forecast for Virgo season 2024. So Virgo is your second house, which is self-worth, finances, and I will say sensual experiences or multi-sensory experiences. But it's really about like practical ways that you can show yourself your worthiness. And then on the Pisces side of that, the Pisces lunar eclipse is going to be in your 8th house, which could be major shifts in your intimate relationships, your financial relationships, your sharing of intimacy, your sharing of monies, your something to do with taxes could be surfacing. With the lunar eclipse in Pisces and subsequent lunar eclipses in Pisces over the next 18 months to 2 years. And so be attentive to that Virgo new moon. What is it showing you about your self-worth? What is it showing you about the potential up levels in your worthiness and your standing for yourself or advocating for yourself? What is it showing you? And then what is being released in your closest relationships, those people that you are deeply bonded with? What is it showing you? Because something's going to shift in that. You also have Pluto will be transiting your 7th house. So transformation in your friendships, partnerships, coworkers, colleagues, things like that is going to be on the docket for the next 20 years or so. So you want to be attentive to that. Is there anything else I want to say about those things? I don't think so. So let's see what the cards have for you. But yeah, this is a your self-worth, and the opposing axis of your self-worth is who you are in intimate partnerships or intimate relations with. And that could be business or, your long-term significant other type situation. There could also be some things coming up with like your interpretation of your clairs, your clairvoyance, your knowledge, your clair senses, right? The hyper senses of like clair knowing, clair hearing, clair, gosh, I can't remember them off the top of my head, but anyway, I think you know what I mean, like the supernatural or psychic abilities could be a factor in that with that 8th house Pisces situation. Maybe you stop fearing it and just embrace that you just know shit. 9 of water, again to the mermaids. Got a lot of water cards coming up. Let's see. Your wish comes true. Well, that's exciting. Concerns fade away. A love of life. Yeah, I think it's Leo's. It's be your damn Leo self, without the concern of what others think or feel about who or what you are, right? If you are somebody who is very psychically Leo, just embracing that and trusting in your instincts for yourself. Yes, Virgo is about service to others, but not at the expense of your self-worth or your value. And I think like having Virgo in your 2nd house, Virgo is being of service, but again, it's being of service to others, but filling your own cup and ensuring that you are caring for yourself and the needs of yourself before you give, Leos are so generous, right? Most Leos give so much to others, to the point of exhausting their own body systems, their physical body, their emotional body, their spiritual body. Like they give so much to others, even though they can be egotistical. Yes, I get that. But in general, if you pay attention to a lot of Leos, Leo suns and Leo risings, they're very generous, but they also sometimes devalue themselves in the process, and therefore maybe they don't end up in the right significant partnerships or contractual partnerships or things like that. So I feel like this is really about like really stepping into your own and doing the things that it's kind of that old adage I used to say, like love yourself to the extent that you would love someone else. So show yourself some love, Leo. You deserve it. All right, that's what I got for Leo. All right, Virgo, sun and rising. This is your forecast for Virgo season 2024. Happy birthday to the Virgo suns out there. And so of course this Virgo new moon is going to be in your first house, and the Pisces lunar eclipse is going to be in your seventh house, which, so we're talking about you, who you are, how you show up to the world, and people who you are in relationship with or partnerships with. And this could be romantic friendships, this could be partners, this could be whomever you're in relationship with. But here's what I think this comes back to for Virgos, because Virgos can be the most self-deprecating, lack of confidence, so self-critical that they self-sabotage their own journey, whatever that is, career or relationships, or relationship with God, source, universe. They self-sabotage the shit for themselves. So this comes back to you. This is, and you're going to have not only this new moon in Virgo, but you will have subsequent solar eclipses in your first house. So Virgos, it is time to show up for yourself. Messy, or how do you want the world to see you? How do you want to be perceived by others around you? And maybe it's a change in your appearance, or just showing up confidently, not doubting yourself, and just showing up with all the wisdom and the knowledge that you have and the service that you have to provide for others, and then allowing relationships to float away and subsequently re-enter as new relationships, right? Maybe it's time to really shift who you are friends with, who you are in a romantic partnership with, and really feel into what that looks like. Of course, you are also being squared off by planets moving through Gemini in your 10th house. So you could have some T-squares happening. And if you should happen to have Sagittarius placements, you could have some mutable grand crosses happening as these planets make their way through as planets make their way through Gemini, Virgo, and Pisces. And so I really feel for Virgos, this is really a really learning yourself, really giving yourself the credit, giving yourself the devotion that you would love to be giving other people. Similar with Leo, but this is for you. This really is all about how you show up in the world. Are you dressing the way that you want to be dressing? Are you wearing your makeup the way you want to be? Are you wearing your hair the way that you want to be? Are you wearing the jewelry that you want to be? Are you presenting yourself verbally or vocally in a way that you want to be doing it? Or could you be more confident? Could you show up more confidently? I think every Virgo could show up more confidently, because most Virgos are so self-critical that they neglect to be confident. So there's always like that caveat at the end of everything that they say. And so really, this is an opportunity for Virgos to make a massive shift. Also connection with spirituality and God, source, universe. As you know, you've got Leo, your 12th house, but Pisces is your 7th house. So it's all about like your relationships that allow you to be spiritual, but also remind you that you're human and it's okay if you show up a hot mess and whatnot. So I love this for Virgos because I feel like for Virgos, again, they're so self-critical and so self-sabotaging that I feel like Virgos could really step up their own confidence game and be confident. That we need Virgos. We need, even if I try to tell you that I don't really care about the nitty-gritty details, I know I've told some Virgos that. But I understand, and I think all of us know that the nitty-gritty details are respected, and that somebody's got to be the detail-oriented, organized person in the team. So my goodness, we've got a lot of water coming up. This is interesting. This is the ace of water for you. Yep. So Virgo being your first house, this is really appropriate. Come on, focus, please. Focus, please. Trying to get my magnifier to focus on the card that it apparently does not want to do. Let me see if I shut the app down. 1 second. 1 second. Let's try and... Sometimes the magnifier does not want to do its job. So we got to force it to do its job. Well, falling in love, I would say falling in love with yourself. Or or the resurgence of a relationship. That could be interesting. Spiritual growth and enhanced intuition, a new home. Well, okay. A new home could be a home with yourself. Having been on a nomad journey, people wondered how nomads do make it work. Well, it's because we feel at home in our own skin. We feel at home in our own body. So this is a new relationship or a resurgence of an old relationship, spiritual growth, that kind of thing. I 100% feel like this is about spiritual growth. This is about a potential new relationship, your relationship with yourself and with God, source, universe. And then a new home. Do I think feel like Virgos are going to relocate? Potentially. You do have Sagittarius as your fourth house. Sagittarius is likes to travel, likes to be in different places. Your ninth house would be Taurus. So yeah, Uranus finishing up in Taurus, like that could be a thing. But I really feel like this is you really finding and discovering or unveiling the peace that you have at home in your physical body. Being at home in your physical body, caring for your body, caring for your body systems, caring for your spiritual relationship with God, source, universe, Gaia, Mother Earth, whatever the heck you define it as, but finding the peace within your body, mind, and spirit that has you not even questioning where you live geographically because you are at home, at peace, satisfied with your own self. I love you, Virgos. Happy birthday to all the Virgo suns. All right, Libra. Hello, Libras. Sun and rising, this is your forecast for Virgo season 2024. Okay, so Virgo is your 12th house, so practical yet subconscious. And then of course, Pisces is your 6th house, which is daily routines, but it's also spirituality. So implementing spirituality or some practice of spirituality into your daily routines, or even just solidifying your daily routines, getting disciplined with Saturn present in Pisces. But I feel like Libra could be potentially the most challenging rising sign through this Virgo season and subsequent the nodes moving into Pisces, Virgo in early 2025. I really feel that the solar eclipses in Virgo, your 12th house. Now we just have a new moon in Virgo this Virgo season, but there will be Virgo solar eclipses throughout 2025 and into 2026. And so your sleep could be really disrupted. Your sleep could be challenging. Your sleep could be erratic and lucid dreams. It could be that. It could be a lot of just subconscious stuff coming to the surface. I feel like because 12th house Virgo to me would be like everything subconscious is going to come into reality. So maybe it's like, and this could be completely positive, like dreams come true type thing, or it could be wicked, as in all of the subconscious feelings or thoughts that you have about a person or a situation or a circumstance could bubble up to the surface and really wreak havoc on your daily life. And so this will be Libra, sun and rising would be the sign that I would say now would be the time to move into a sobriety journey, because 12th house transits and intoxicants can be really challenging, could create more of a dramatic situation than necessary. So it could be an opportunity to really check in with your daily routine, 6th house Pisces, and really consider what habits you have in your daily routine that might be disruptive to your subconscious, to your sleep, to what is bubbling up and brewing up in your subconscious. The 12th house can also be isolation. So there could be you choosing your routine to be isolated. And yet your 6th house Pisces may be wanting to be more social, so juggling that a little bit. But I really feel like this is about health. This is about your daily routine. This is about your subconscious thoughts, feelings, desires bubbling up to the surface, perhaps in your dreams, but more likely in your daily thoughts, just because you're bringing those subconscious thoughts, feelings, and ideas to the practical Virgo surface. So this could go a few different ways. So just be attentive, be aware, and all of that. Let's see what the cards have for Virgo or for Libra. Dang it. I'm sorry. I keep messing that up. We're talking about Libra. And Libra's got the Two of Fire. Interesting. So a choice. You've come into your own new partnerships or contacts. Continue to move forward. I kind of like this. You've maybe created a new situation recently for yourself. Maybe you've moved, maybe you've relocated, maybe you've shifted careers, or you've, I don't know, shifted your friend groups in some way. But I still think there's a choice here. Like 2 typically is a choice in tarot. Fire is also represented by dragons. So maybe do some research on like the year of the dragon, since we're in the year of the dragon. But I feel like I feel like this is exactly what I was saying, right? Even though 12th house is isolation, subconscious, but it's bringing that 12th house, whatever's in your self-conscious, into, lighting it on fire, setting it on fire, and bringing it into fruition, bringing it into an opportunity for you to move forward. So I really like that for Libra. I do think this could be a very challenging Virgo season and subsequent North Node Pisces, South Node Virgo that will start in early 2025. I think it could be very challenging with that 12th house energy. And Pisces in the 6th house. I don't know. I was writing this out and I was like, God, it's got to be hard to be a freaking Virgo or be a Libra, because 6th house Pisces, like solidifying a routine could be incredibly challenging. But also be attentive to your health and your well-being, and how things move through your systems and what affects your systems, and what nutritionally, or even like if it comes to choosing sobriety. This could be an opportunity to really be attentive to what things that you're doing, consuming, disrupt an already potentially disrupted daily routine with that Pisces 6th house situation. But yeah, I feel like this could be really challenging for Libras, just based on the 12th house energy and the 6th house. It's a hard balance anyway. And those 2 signs in those houses could add a layer of challenge, but there are ways through it, and it's you making the choice that you're going to move, that you're going to get through it, that you're going to make the choices that are right, that are in alignment for you. Or you already have, and you're already moving into this, maybe you've already intuitively understood that this is where things need to go. Again, I think this is going to be a challenging one, but I also have every confidence that Libras can pull this shit off. So that's what I got for Libra. Scorpio, sun and rising. This is your forecast for Virgo season 2024. Virgo is your 11th house. Pisces is your 5th house. So you're going to have some changes or some up levels or some upgrades with your groups, communities, potentially technology, social media, how your role in a community or your role in a group or your role on social media. And that all comes from whatever is shifted or changed in the 5th house of creativity, inner child wounds, your relationship with your children, or your relationship with children in general. And so, some relationships could shift with kids, or some relationships could shift because of healing an inner child wound with that Pisces 5th house situation. But I feel like be really open to changes in your opportunities or shifts in your community. or group, friend group or whatever. Also shifts in how you show up on social media, that kind of thing. Technology could be a thing. You may be stubborn and don't want to learn new technology and facing loads of learning curves, because not only do we have Jupiter and Gemini in your 8th house, but then Uranus will move into Gemini in your 8th house next year, as we are in the cycle of this Virgo Pisces axis for you. And so, things might be moving zippy zappy fast in the technology realm, and you're just like holding on to, I don't know why everything keeps changing and I can't keep up. And so just try and be patient. Also, having the support, like opening yourself up to who can support you, groups, communities, and technology, so that you can open up a path for creativity, because you could have some shift in creativity that gives you some insight into who can be supportive for you, and who has the skill sets to support you as you are moving through a significant learning curve with the changes in technology. So love that for Scorpio. Making new friends, being friendly. 7 of fire. How about that for Scorpio? We got defend your beliefs and decisions. Stand your ground and choose your battles wisely. Yeah, I feel like what this is that 5th house, choose your battles wisely. It's like get along to get along. And sometimes that's not easy for a Scorpio to do, because they kind of just want to say what they want to say and get to the goddamn point. Like, I really get that. Guilty as charged. But choose your battles wisely. Like, sometimes things just don't need to be said. Or choose your battles wisely as in like, okay, I just don't even need to try and be a part of that situation, because there's no way I'm going to come out the winner. I'm always going to be fighting it, and there's no point. And so, choosing your battles wisely, being open to what happens, what comes up for you. Let me go back and read this again, because I got stuck on the choose your battles wisely. There was more to it than that. Standing your ground and defending your beliefs. Well, I think this is just like, being real with being confident. I think some Scorpios are going to start being more confident, and that's going to open up and allow for creativity. That's going to open up and allow for new groups of people to enter into your aura or into your life. And, just standing your ground, knowing that you're advocating for the best interest of you, and all of that. So I love this. This is 7 of fire, and fire is represented by dragons. Like, be the freaking fire breathing dragon. Like, sometimes it's like you need to say what needs to be said, and other times you just need to like be quiet, and that is really hard. I get it. Okay, so that's what I got for Scorpio. Sagittarius, Sagittarius, sun and rising. This is your forecast for Virgo season 2024. Okay, so we have the Virgo new moon in your 10th house, and we have the Pisces lunar eclipse in your 4th house. And of course, Gemini things happening. So you may be having some squares, you may be having some opposition. So lots of tension happening for Sag risings, not unlike any other mutable sign right now. You're all going through it. So just know that you're in good company. But this could be like an epiphany or an up level at work, or a raise, or a promotion at work, 10th house, Virgo. However, it's going to be balanced out by something has to shift at home. Like, something is unavoidably needs to change at home, whether it's you need to lessen your responsibilities at home, or maybe you need to increase your responsibilities at home. Therefore, you're taking a demotion at work. I don't know. I'm just putting that out there. But also could be about emotions or expressing your emotions. Pisces being your 4th house, it is about emotions. It's a water sign. And you may need to express your emotions differently, or express them at all, or have the space at home to express how you feel. Maybe this is a maternal situation and you have like, you're a mom and you need to, focus more on being a mom, but work is in the way, or your kids are growing up and you're an empty nester now. And so you've got the opportunity to therefore up level at work. So something's going to shift between your career, your public achievement, and your home life, your fourth house. But also, of course, because we have things in Gemini, we've got things happening in the seventh house as well, which could be relationships, partnerships, romantic partners, coworkers, colleagues. All of those things could be in the mix as well, which could create anything from T-squares to oppositions to full-on grand crosses. And so as we move through this Virgo season, be attentive to what shows up around the new moon on the 2nd, and what shows up or kind of starts to fade away around the 17th with that Pisces lunar eclipse, because those might be repeated concerns, issues, or events as we move into 2025 and the nodes move into North Node Pisces, South Node Virgo. So lots on the plate for Sagittarius, but you've had Saturn and Neptune in your fourth house for quite some time in Pisces. So I feel like none of this is really actually going to be new for you. You've seen this shift coming, but now it's kind of unavoidable. It's just to the point where it's unavoidable. And you're going to have a little check-in on your self-worth and your finances with Pluto dipping back into Capricorn. And there's some shit that just can't go on the way it has gone on with that. In your self-worth area. So just kind of be attentive to how things show up during this Virgo season. You got the 7 of Earth. Interesting. And this is seeds well planted, a temporary pause in action, and unnecessary worry. So whatever you're stressing out about, don't worry about it, because Pisces is going to have nothing but lunar eclipses for the next year and a half. And so whatever needs to go is going to go. So you've done what you needed to do to plant seeds so that something will thrive, a plant will thrive, the home situation will thrive, the work situation is going to thrive. You've got it well planted, and it's going to be okay. So whatever you're stressing out about with regards to what needs to shift, what needs to change, don't worry, it'll be eclipsed out of the equation. So that's what I got for Sagittarius. All right, Capricorn, this is your forecast for Virgo season 2024. Virgo is your 9th house and Pisces is your 3rd house. So the new moon and subsequent solar eclipses for the next year and a half are going to be in your 9th house, and the lunar eclipses will be in your 3rd house. So something has to give about how you communicate with others, or your relationships with siblings, or your relationships with aunts, uncles, something like that. Something's got to give. And then also you may be graduating with Virgo being your 9th house. And honestly, you're graduating because Pluto's moving into Capricorn September 1st through roughly November 19th, 20th. And so you kind of are getting that graduation, like, thank God you're done with Capricorn very soon in your 1st house. And so I feel like this is one of those, like, just celebrating the fact that you've transformed, that you've changed, that you've shifted, that you've made a lot of changes in your life since 2008, and just kind of celebrate and have a little fun with the fact that you made it through that transit. But also, maybe you are literally graduating from college, graduating from higher education, or maybe you're shifting or solidifying your belief systems or something like that. But also it's about communication, and maybe it's how you communicate with others. Maybe it's more direct communication and less indirect or subconscious communication, but just verbalizing what's really on your mind. Let's see what's up with the tarot. We got the King of Water. We've got a lot of water. I'm sorry, the Knight of Water. I swear to God, I've shuffled this deck and I know I've seen this card pop up on top like 3 times. And y'all are the ones who get it because I keep shuffling it back into the deck. I mean, no, and well, never mind. I think you get what I mean. Every time I was shuffling it, it kept flipping up and I kept putting it back in the deck. And now it's getting to you and you get the Knight of Water. So the Knight of Water is emotional, romantic, enthusiastic, and contemplative. And at the bottom of the card, it says falling in love or wedding proposals. The need to balance, come on, the need to balance emotions, and is this I can't tell what that word is. An irritation. Oh, an invitation to a social event. So this is about getting social. Again, back to celebrating, right? Celebrating the fact that you made it through Pluto in your sign, Pluto in your first house. I like nights are typically about like being like the knight in shining armor. It's being humble. It's being the fighter. It's being the like like a little bit on your high horse. And I think you kind of have the right to be on your high horse. Of course, water in this deck is mermaids. And I think this is just kind of like, celebrating or honoring the fact that, and maybe this is a marriage proposal, but it could be just really marrying yourself. It doesn't have to be a legit marriage, a for real marriage proposal, but it could be. Maybe y'all are about to get married. Maybe you've made it through it. Your partner stayed with you that whole damn time. So what the hell? Let's get married, right? But yeah, it's really celebrating you. It's really being social and coming out of your proverbial shell, and coming back to life, as you have made it through this Capricorn season, or made it through this Pluto in Capricorn transit since 2008. And just being like, damn, finally. All right, that's what I got for Capricorn. I think it's a good time for Capricorn. I think that they're going to show up to the plate. I think they're going to show us all how it's done, which will be good, because we'd love to see what Capricorns have learned from 15 years of Pluto in Capricorn. But as far as this, I think it is a graduation. I feel like it is just, you're communicating on a different level. You're all of those sorts of things. So that's what I got for Capricorn. Aquarius, sun and rising. This is your forecast for Virgo season 2024. So Virgo is your 8th house, and Pisces is your 2nd house. So Aquarius, getting intimate. Aquarius getting into some relationships, some long-term relationships, whether this is a romantic, or sexual relationship, or physical intimacy type relationship, or something to do with a contractual, intimate agreement with maybe a business partner or something like that. But also it's trusting your self-worth, right? Pisces is letting you know it's time to release all of the things that hold you back from knowing that you are a worthy human being, that you're here, that you are talented, you're intelligent, you are for the people, you are all of those things. And I feel like too, Aquarians are wanting to be in intimate relationships with those who are wanting to be of service to others. Like they don't want like a private, I mean, I think they do to a degree, but I think ultimately Aquarians want to be of service to others, right? I know a lot of Aquarians who are like engineers and things like that. And I think, engineering, yeah, it's like a private, it's a kind of a more back in the behind the scenes type of a career, but it's also like what they do behind the scenes that actually makes life better for the people. So I think Aquarians, while they like to be isolated, it's more like isolated so that they can be the visionaries and build something for others. So I feel like whatever relationship you're getting into, whether it's romantic or business, you've been looking for or seeking that person that wants to be in doing something, whether it's behind the scenes or in front of the scenes, or in the scenes rather, but it's doing something that's in service of other people, which would be completely appropriate considering Virgo is your 8th house, right? So, but Pisces in your 2nd house with these lunar eclipses, with this lunar eclipse and the subsequent lunar eclipses in 2025, it's really like, releasing something about your self-worth that's been holding you back or sabotaging you from being your unique, authentic, nerdy, geeky, engineer, creative self that allows you to, share or show. Like, I could totally see an Aquarius is sitting somewhere in their lab or in their captain's chair. Like, they've got this huge idea, but they know if they put it out there that some rich idiot guru dumbass is going to take the idea and create it into a weapon or create it into something against the people or that's not in favor of the people. And therefore an Aquarius would want to hide that. Aquarius would want to keep that hidden. And I think it's like knowing and trusting that you'll be guided to the people who will actually support your idea to be for the people and in support of the people, so that you can actually share your visions and share your ideas and share your invention or your creation. And Aquarius, y'all got the Page of Water. Yep, curiosity, intuitive, sensitive, artistic, and friendly, kind of like what I just said. And then the bottom of the card, it says a new person enters your life. A relationship begins a new phase. And heightened psychic abilities. Yeah, all that I just said. Relationship going to the next level. Time to get intimate. Time to trust in somebody to help you get the project going. You've got some intuitive psychic ideas that you've been sitting with and harboring, and I feel like it's time for Aquarians to really share what that is and make it a practical, bring it into fruition, bring your ideas into fruition. And that comes with a layer of trust in not only who you're in relationship with, but everyone else around you, right? There isn't an innovator or inventor out there who didn't invent something that ran the risk of a, like I said, a rich dickhead who wanted to steal their idea to make it profitable or make it, a weapon or whatever, right? So I think that's where Aquarians get kind of scared. Like, they have a load of ideas and a load of visions, and huge intuition, but they have a really hard time trusting. And I can understand that. Like, look how things have gone in this society that we live in, that somebody takes over that idea. Like, look at who bought out all the farms in the United States. So why would you want to share your innovation if someone's just going to use it for financial gain, when all you really want to do is share it with people so they can use it, right? You kind of have to wonder when Louis Braille invented Braille, granted it was created from moon, I believe it was moon type or something like that. It was used by the military in the early 19th century, but then Louis Braille turned it into the French Braille code. But did he know that 150 years later, that a Braille display to a computer would cost $2,500 or more? Did he really know that? Or was he just creating something to help out people who were blind so they could read? Just putting that out there, right? Everything's about making money, but I think Aquarians hate that. Aquarians get really disgusted by that. And so it's time for Aquarians to really find the people or attract the people that they can trust, that what they have envisioned or what they have created can actually support people without being, you know, outside of people's ability to use it or have it. That's what I got for Aquarius. Pisces, sun and rising. This is your forecast for Virgo season 2024. So Virgo is your 7th house, which is partnerships, romantic relationships, colleagues, coworkers, all of those things. And then of course your Pisces is your 1st house. So that's you, who you are, how you show up to the world. But I really feel like this is with Virgo being your 7th house, it's like a shift, and that's where the new moon in Virgo will be, is in your 7th house, and then the lunar eclipse and subsequent lunar eclipses in 2025 will be in your 1st house. So Pisces is about to go through some transformation because they haven't gone through enough. Some of us can be in perpetual transformation. But what I really feel like this is like you have to kind of let go of a part of yourself, like an egoic part of yourself, or a wounded part of yourself. You kind of have to let it go in order to have relationships in the day-to-day practical, like in the real world, IRL, right? In the real world, partnerships and relationships that that have a practical service or have a practical implication. And so I feel like Pisces may be letting go of even some relationships, but I feel like it's more letting go of a part of yourself that maybe resists relationships that are practical because you want like spiritual relationships. You only want people who are maybe on the spiritual journey that you're on, or people that are only in your spiritual whatever. And so, but it may be like you need to be connected with certain people because they have the practical skill sets or talents to, help you move forward in whatever else. Pisces, you also have Gemini in your 4th house. So of course, changes happening with Jupiter in Gemini. And then subsequently next year, we will have Uranus in Gemini, which will create even more disruption in your home life, your emotional intelligence, things like that. And so, could have some T-squares happening between your 1st house, 7th house, 4th house. So between yourself, how you show up to the world, your relationships and partnerships, and your home life may all be kind of having some tension while we move through this, not only this Virgo season, but when the nodes move into North Node Pisces, South Node Virgo in the winter in January of 2025. But because we will only have lunar eclipses in Pisces during that nodal cycle, however, it is the North Node. So whatever you are releasing and letting go is really only going to catapult you forward to the next level. So you're up leveling, but to up level, you have to release something about you or something within you that's kind of maybe holding you back from getting to the next level. And Pisces, you got the 4 of water. Goodness gracious, these water cards. All right, we all need to be paying attention to water during this Virgo season. Missing an opportunity. Discontentment. Yep. Discontentment. Boredom. Open your eyes to the possibilities. Yeah, Pisces are frustrated. Like that's what this is. Pisces are frustrated. They're bored. They want something new. They want some new relationships, and those are going to come. But in order to have those new relationships, you've got to let go of something about yourself that's holding you back from having those practical relationships. Virgo in your 7th house. Water in this deck is represented by mermaids, and so maybe it's time to go to a whole new school of fish. So yeah, I think Pisces are ready to let something go, but the resistance is real. And I get it. However, it's going to be time that the lunar eclipses in Pisces are going to kind of force the issue. So yeah, there's that. So, all right, guys, that is what I have for the sun and rising. I just want to point out that there were like half of the cards, and I shuffled between each season of signs, by the way. I shuffle between Gemini and Cancer, I shuffle between Virgo and Libra, and I shuffle between Sag and Capricorn. I shuffle every time, and I shuffle before I even start filming. So the fact that we got a lot of water kind of tells me that we all need to pay attention to water, to Pisces, to waterways, to Saturn and Neptune and what they're up to, and them closing out whatever this giant cycle is for whatever house that I said that Pisces is for your rising sign, is where we all need to be paying attention to what's coming up, what's coming out, what is being released. This is a huge time for all of us between now and mid 2026. We're all going to be going through a high level of transformation, and the water is what helps us transform. Moving water through a creek, moving water through a waterfall, moving water through the ocean waves crashing, those sorts of things. So be attentive to water as we move through this Virgo season. Yes, Virgo is an earth sign, but its opposition is Pisces. So if the sun is in Virgo, the earth is in Pisces. And so we could really feel the effect of water. Or maybe that was just a message for me to talk more about water, to know my own situation with water. I don't know. But it was just, I mean, that was like half of the half of the draws tonight were water. So be attentive to water, be attentive to waterways, be attentive to, you know, how you use water to cleanse, how we use water to, you know, filter. Water can move, like it changes the shape of things. Think about what water does to paper. Think about what water does in the long term with rock. It does have its ability to shift and mutate, you know, and Pisces is a mutable water sign. So I'm gonna leave that there. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this gave you some insight. Do leave me some comments and let me know how this Virgo season shows up for you. Of course, you've got the Moon Astrology Tarot videos, the Aquarius Experiment videos, and other videos of mine that you can tune into either on YouTube or Sara Waggle on TikTok if you want to check it out there. And of course, sign up for the newsletter. I'm going to be sharing more about my astrology journey and my niche area of astrology. I've started experimenting with it over on the paid platform, which is the Awakening Spirit Collective. I do a monthly video there. Sometimes I do 2 videos per month, depends on the astrology. But I have started experimenting with the niche area on that platform. So if you want to join that, my affiliate link is below. Yes, I get a percentage. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you for the regulars, and then I will see you again for your sun and rising signs for Libra season. So let's get ready for this eclipse cycle. All right, take care.